Hello, fellow glue sniffers and sprue snippers. Welcome back to Blitzkrieg Modelworks. I'm Bob. You know me as Darkland on the forums. Hey, how's it going? Today I'd like to talk about the StugLife group build from the YouTube Modelers group. I've been a little held up with life and all the other BS that we all have to deal with. One of the biggest stumbling blocks I've had with this build to date has been this ATAK zimmerit. I showed you guys some of this stuff. Excuse me. This ATAK zimmerit, it's an empty bag now because it's all installed, thank God. This stuff is incredibly thin. I've got a couple of little pieces left, the last two pieces that I have to put in, and you won't believe where these go. So those are the two pieces. Waffle pattern. And I mean, this stuff is thin. This has been an absolute nightmare to install, but it looks awesome when it's done. So, my first problem, the lower hull. This came as one sheet. This one sheet has to fit around shock absorbers, return roller mounts, idler mounts, dry sprocket mounts, road wheel mounts. Guess what? It didn't. I can't say that it was ATAKs' fault. This stuff was like 10 years old, or when was this kit first made? 95. So the Stug 3 came out in 1995. The ATAKs probably came out very shortly thereafter, because I know I bought these basically when they came out on the market. So that's like 20 years. These things have been sitting around. So this stuff was really dried out, really brittle. I've talked to some other guys on the YouTube group and that have used this stuff and say, oh, it works great. You just heat it up with a little bit of hot water and you can kind of stretch it and mold it. And yeah, that did not work. As you can see right here, I snapped that piece. Being waffle pattern, not a big deal though. It blends right in. And like I said, it looks awesome. The front section went together, no problem. You do not use the extra armor plate with the bolt heads on it. You just put this right on top. In the bottom and the rear, there was some significant trimming to get everything on here on both sides. This one broke into multiple pieces here, and I believe back here as well, but not a huge problem. Had to fit around this hole. This was a real gong show to try and fit. Again, not ATAKs' problem. It's me using really old stuff. Then there's the rear plate. This one was really easy because this is actually a solid resin cast piece that just glues on top of the kit part. And then you have some of the wafer stuff. Some of the stuff broke off and kind of catapulted itself across the shop. No clue where it went. Fortunately, you can't really see it. And if you can, they nicely provide a there you can see it, a little waffle pattern, so I can put some putty on there and I can make my own pattern if I want. And that just glues onto the back, just like so. So this part you probably won't even really see, but we'll see when I get the upper hull and everything else done. Upper hull, gorgeous. Those two little pieces, by the way, these two tiny little pieces go here and here. Incredible. Broke a little bit here, not a big deal. Battle damage, looks good. Even has some for the tops of the fenders, front and back. The back portions had this non-skid grit on it, and I had to shave that off to get those on. You'll see all this light and dark spots in the thin sheet. That's the dark spots is where the super glue is, and the light spots is where the super glue is not. Won't notice that once it's all painted. All the covers, including the final drive housing covers, the driver's side and the opposite side, these are all solid cast. These replace the kit parts. And that is it for the resin. This has been the hold up for this, for the whole build, because you literally cannot put any of this, you can't put any of the other parts together until you get all this stuff on, because everything else piles on top or behind other parts. So now this will progress relatively quickly, and yes, they do give you bits for in here. So the next biggest thing that's going to slow this down, only because I'm not, I'm kind of out of practice, is adding all the photo etch, because I do have a full labor set for this. Plus I got side skirts, and I've got an RB barrel for it, which is multi-piece, which is quite complex, but looks pretty simple to put together. And I'll have to do other things, like you've kind of seen that there's nothing over the sponsons, so I'll have to fill that in. That's pretty simple, though. That's just a rectangular piece that goes in, so that won't be a problem. Not that you'll see it if I decide to put the side skirts up. You won't see anything anyway. So this has turned out to be way nicer than I had anticipated, a lot more work than I had anticipated, but now that this is done, the rest will progress quite quickly. So hopefully within another week or so, I will have all the suspension done and the sponsons filled and all that other stuff, and I'll be piling a bunch of other stuff together. There's going to be some stuff like the mufflers and that I'm going to have to do some pre-painting and pre-weathering and then coating to get all the chipping effects that I want to do. And that should be good to go then. Everything else can kind of be painted in situ. So until the next time, guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any constructive comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Right? Thank you very much. Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.